What up? It's Casper. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about the third season, episode 2 of Tulsa King. So season 3, episode 2 of Tulsa King is called The 50. It's 45 minutes, directed by Jim McKay. This episode is written by Sheri Elwood. So we're on episode 2 now, and I do want to mention from episode 1 that length of the episode was 47 minutes. Regarding just the length of these episodes, I do want to say one thing that I do appreciate is that each episode so far has honestly been a great movie feel. Comparing it to last season, I do want to give props to just the improvement in the writing. I do like how in this season so far it's kind of had like a fast-paced interaction, scenarios, and just a lot of eye-appealing things. Like, we're getting introduced to a lot of crazy stuff in this episode and there's no holding back at all. We're really seeing a lot of really cool stuff from the main actors, and then we're seeing a lot of cool stuff from these new actors as well. But this episode number 2, the scenarios and a lot of the stuff that we saw from the first episode is definitely continuing on. Drama in this episode is building. A lot of the intense moments for me were very heart pumping type of scenarios, and I just give a lot of props to the writing in those moments, because a lot of those moments are being carried not only by the camera direction, so huge props to that, but very impressive on how a lot of these actors are really putting this out on face-to-face, very intense moments. The confrontation of step-by-step scenarios after what just happened was very, very awesome and whoa type of thing. Applaud on just how they just put everything together, especially the scenario of Dwight and Jeremiah Dunmire being together in that funeral room. That was just very, very wild to see that confrontation. What they put together in the first few minutes of this episode, I'm just like, dang, what else are we gonna see? There's no really drag in this episode at all. This is another episode where it just really just wants you to just sit down and just watch what's really going on. There's more in-depth detail with surrounding characters besides just leaving stuff empty. Like in this episode, while we're watching how Dwight is getting more involved with this distillery. One, it's very insane that Dwight's getting involved with the distillery, and second, it looks very cool, honestly, to see all that. A lot of the stuff that they're actually doing in this episode is showing a lot of history stuff and kind of showing a lot of real authentic stuff as if you're really there. Besides Dwight having his scenarios build up a lot more, one thing I do want to add to this episode is that they're really making Dwight have competition where you're like, wow, finally someone's actually at that level. Like last season, we did have some evil bosses trying to be at a certain level where like, whoa, we don't want to mess with them. In this episode, they're kind of referencing that those bosses were kind of weak. Now this boss right here, and the Dixie Mafia boss, especially with Jeremiah Dunmire who runs it, this is a lot more intense, more different level you don't want to mess with. And a lot of these characters are actually acknowledging that Dwight has not seen this type of boss before. So I really like how with the writing, with the build up, with Dwight dealing with more possibilities to grow his empire, this dude is now dealing with a boss that us as a viewer didn't expect that it could have got even worse, especially from last season seeing that boss, and now in this one dealing with Dunmire. I'm really loving that screen interaction. That is very insane to see, and I'm really liking the competition between both of them. Really feels like that's an area right there where if you live in that area you don't want to mess with. Going back to Dwight, I'm really liking how his power and his growth, the way he's thinking is really becoming very sharp and very straightforward. This dude is not stopping at all. This episode we see Cal Thresher, we got Bill in the building. Dwight is really showing that he is the boss. Dwight is not messing around. We did see that annoying dude try to get in touch with him in this episode, but this episode is doing a really good job of just pointing here, pointing there, and keeping us very entertained while a lot of main stuff is happening. The gang is actually doing a lot of teamwork type of stuff in here, and really enjoyed seeing Tyson's dad in this episode. So Mark, crazy scenario that he's helping with the plumbing and he's helping build this distillery. Tyson is becoming someone that we're just seeing grow in front of our eyes like crazy. Tyson definitely wants a lot of action and definitely wants to put himself in front of this mafia stuff that he knows that he's in, and this dude is running 100 miles per hour and he's not stopping. Honestly, he's running 100, 200 miles per hour right now. Clothing to the way he's walking and talking, you can see that Tyson is gonna have something's gonna be crazy with Tyson this season. This whole episode was literally like a build-up type of episode where it's feeding you the perfect stuff, but just wait on it again because there's still a lot of great stuff to show you guys. Scenarios with Dwight's gang is building up. Bodhi back in this episode get more screen time. You're just seeing more of what he's going through, especially, you know, Jimmy dying in front of him. But Bodhi was absolutely crazy in this episode. His scenarios is just gonna lead to something that we're just like, bruh, very, very insane. Mitch had a crazy scenario in here. Really like how they're showing more Mitch in this season. Garrett Hudlin is doing a good job on really making this Mitch character heavily involved, and his presence is definitely felt. Very, very intense and very awesome scene with him. Man, just his scenario in this episode just really got me thinking like they're gonna do something with one of these characters that we really, really like. Besides that, Armand got brought up. Goody had a good amount of screen time finally to actually show him being Dwight's right-hand man. In this episode too, they actually give you some chuckles along with this crazy mafia stuff that we're actually seeing. Bill, I would say, is doing a really good job on still holding that crazy out of nowhere, it's like, Dwight, why are you doing business without me type of vibe, like let me have a piece of the pie, still on his, you know, Kansas City mafia boss swag. But Cal Thresher, now involved with being in politics, is really showing that Jeremiah Dunmire's presence really made those bosses really look like nothing, if that makes sense. But scenarios in this episode is really showing that Dwight has a lot of these other bosses besides Jeremiah Dunmire in the palm of his hand. Jeremiah Dunmire, very, very happy to have this evil boss villain in this series, is adding to this movie feel that I'm really enjoying. Music score in this episode just added to this crazy intense ride that we were seeing. The mafia stuff in this episode is crazy in this one right here. I really hope for those who are watching this review that this is really making you want to start from the beginning, because there is characters that get brought up in this season that I feel like is adding to the detail and the right dimensions to this world. And you're going to see the growth from season 1 to here. And it's just going to be something that while you're watching it, you're going to be like, yo, this is really becoming like a crazy intense movie now. Another episode where I'm just feeling that anticipation is just going to be very, very great later on. After my watching the second episode, season 3 of Tulsa King, the 50 out of 10, I'm going to have to give this episode a 9 out of 10. So that's my review for the second episode, third season of Tulsa King, the 50. Shout out to you guys for tuning into the video. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, y'all.